This is the 2023 Ford Raptor, and the Ford Raptor is an extremely old nameplate. The first generation Ford Raptor came out in 2010. This is a 2023 model, and now we're into the 2024 model year. That means that this is a 14-year-old nameplate. This is the big old brother of the off-road truck segment. And yes, there are now competitors like the Ram TRX and of course the GMC AT4X. There's also the Chevy ZR2 Bison. But just like with football, the bigger brother is always better. You see, with more experience and more time to develop, this truck genuinely surprised me. And I think it will for you too. Let's get right into it. You see, and it all starts out up here with the front end styling, because before we had seen some sport package trucks, we had seen some modified trucks, we had even seen some high output trucks, but never had a manufacturer truly built a different truck for a purpose. And what I mean by that is the Raptor was the first one to be wider and taller than the normal F-150. And that's what made this truck truly different, not only back in 2010, but it continues, because this truck has a completely different suspension, frame, everything from the underpinnings and including the body panels, like you can see right here, are different from the regular F-150. And it's what makes this truck so outright capable. It's also what makes it so different from the F-150, and it's why people love the Raptor so much. You see, we've got the 3 LED lights all the way across the hood here, letting you know that this truck is big and bold. We've got the orange amber LED daytime running lights with the adaptive LED projector headlights. These headlights have the ability to turn around turns with you. Down below, we've got the rigid industry off-road fog lights. There's actually a little cover because the DOT says that this is too many lumens, so you have to take those little covers off when you go off-road. Big, huge tow hooks, a really, really tough bash plate underneath, and an absolute ton of ground clearance. And this vehicle not only has the ground clearance for looks like a lot of its competitors, but it actually uses it, because this vehicle has the full Fox live valve adaptive suspension, which can be tuned with the modes on the steering wheel. And that leads right into our next point. See, this vehicle has different drive modes that don't just change the way that this truck feels, but it changes the entire drive of this vehicle. From things like the exhaust, the suspension, the steering, the throttle, the transmission, all of that is adjustable with buttons on the steering wheel, and it changes the entire way that this truck feels. But it doesn't just look good from the front, it also looks great from behind. And from behind, the F-150 Raptor has an amazing look. You see that huge, huge ground clearance? Tailored from the front, goes right into the back, and you've got these huge off-road exhausts that not only look good, but they sound amazing too. They especially sound good when you get the Raptor R, which is a supercharged V8. But you've got huge tow hooks for recovery, for yanking people out. You've got a nice big 2-inch receiver with the chain pulleys. You actually notice these chain pulleys are different, and the whole hitch is actually tucked a little bit more than what you see on a regular F-150. Just showing off even more of the engineering behind this truck, showing that it's completely different. You see, they didn't just take an F-150 and put a lift kit on it or put these big fenders on the side of it. They actually built a completely different truck. And this tow hitch is a prime example of that. And even when you see the back, you've got the same huge Ford badging that we had on the front with a little Raptor decal over here. And then of course the F-150 badge, reminding you that this is built on an F-150. Now this particular one we're looking at actually has the power down tailgate, which is a really nice feature. It drops the whole tailgate, just like that. And it does have the tailgate step in it, which we've seen on tons of different trucks, but it pops out, has a little handle. And this is the work surface tailgate as standard. It does have the clamp down points for woodworking. You've also got the measuring tape right here in the tailgate, as well as a spot for cups and pencils and whatever else you may need. Now there are a few nitpicks that I have, because at the end of the day, this is a review of the truck. And you can't really say that the competitors are any better, because all of the competitors right now offer 400 watts of power. See, most of the F-150s, you can get a 2 kilowatt hour or all the way up to a 7.2 kilowatt hour plug in the bed. Back here, it's 400 watts, and even for 2024 with the model update, they still haven't offered that 2 kilowatt hour option, which is kind of silly, because on most of the other 3.5 liter EcoBoost, you can get that. However, it would be something I'd like to see Ford adjust. But even then, looking back here, we've got box link LED lights, that 400 watts of power, and of course a tie down in each corner, allowing you to tie whatever large items you need to haul around back here. Now, the Raptor does have lower payload and towing, and that's one of the reasons that Ford was forced to come out with the Tremor package, because people loved the off-road capability, they loved the styling, but something that comes with this vehicle kind of as a consequence of it being so capable out in Baja conditions, especially with that soft off-road sprung suspension, is that you can't tow and you can't haul as much. It's just a natural consequence. If you want that heavy-duty suspension travel, if you want that nice plush ride going through sand dunes, you can't also have 2,000 plus pounds of payload. So this truck does lack payload and it does lack towing, but that's not really an issue, because most of the people buying this truck understand the capability and are buying it because of that capability. So if you're somebody down in the comments who says, yeah, the Raptor is great and all, but I can't tow with it, great news. That's exactly why Ford offered the trimmer just for you, because you might love the looks, you might love the off-road capability, but if you don't need that super fancy off-road suspension, that 5-link coil rear suspension, well, that's exactly where the trimmer slots right in, because the trimmer still has all the capability of the regular F-150 while still offering added off-road suspension, added off-road capability, and of course, the amazing looks. Let's go ahead around the side and talk about the profile next. Well, here we are on the side of the F-150 Raptor, and I brought you here because, well, quite frankly, this truck looks good at every angle. One of the downsides of a lot of the competitors and most trucks in general is that they may look good from the front, they might look good from behind, but there's always an angle that they don't look good. And this is where I think the Raptor is truly different from most other cool vehicles right now, is because it does look cool from the side. You see, from the factory, it's leveled out because of that Baja suspension and that race inspiration. And speaking of the wheels and tires, we've got these BF Goodrich KO2s on here. These are the Baja Champion tires, of course, and they're sized out here in a 315 millimeter by 770 millimeter on a 17-inch beadlock style rim. This actually is a beadlock capable rim. However, for DOT regulations, they can't beadlock on the highway or on the road, but it is beadlock capable, meaning you can take all those Torx bolts out, take the tire off the rim, put it in the bead, and then cinch it down for going off-road if you wanted to. But also looking at this, you've got these nice big blacked out fenders that really protect the body. They've also got the amber lights in here to allow you to really see where the vehicle's at, especially in darker conditions. And then when we look at our Raptor high profile off-road step, it's really, really nice. It's really, really sturdy. You don't have to worry about it going anywhere, getting ripped off or anything. And it does a great job protecting the body. We've also got these heat extraction vents up here on the fenders. And once again, these tires are great. These are the 315 millimeter, basically a 37-inch tire. Actually, it's a 35-inch tire. There is a Raptor 37 package up for 2023. Now, for 2024, they have changed the Raptor packages a little bit. The new one is actually going to be a trim level upgrade of the Raptor 37. So you have the regular Raptor, the Raptor 37, and then the Raptor R for 2024. And correspondingly, the regular Raptor is going to be the more basic version that comes with these 35-inch tires, and then the Raptor 37 is going to be more of a luxury trim that comes a little bit different gearing, of course the different 37-inch tires, and then the Raptor R is going to be the same as that Raptor 37 with the added difference of the powertrain. That's going to come with a supercharged V8. That is the most powerful option, but the other ones are still going to come with this high output 3.5 liter, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But before we go under the hood, let's go jump in the back seat and see exactly how comfortable that back seat is. So here we are in the back seats of the F-150 Raptor, and it's a very comfortable back seat. You see the nice big panoramic sunroof, which really opens up this cabin. Not that this cabin isn't open enough already, because it's already super wide and super long and has an absolute ton of room. And these seats are unique because they've got kind of a two-tone material going on. You've got this cool kind of suede felt material along with the leather. And of course, it flips down to reveal two cup holders and a nice soft plush armrest. These two outboard seats are heated, and we've got tons of different capabilities and connections. There are two air vents in the back, so if you have any kiddos, they're going to be extremely comfortable back here. But we offer a 12-volt plug-in, as well as a USB-C and USB-A, as well as a 400-watt house plug. So as far as connectivity goes, you can definitely charge all of your devices back here. And what I really love is that the cup holder count back here is absurd. We've got a ton of room for a ton of different drinks. We've got two cup holders on the back of the center console. We've got what I call the toddler cup holder right here on the door jamb. We've also got two water bottle spots down on the door. And then I just showed you that this reveals two more cup holders. And so realistically, you can have 3 drinks just in hand distance on each of these outboard seats, but then you can also store a water bottle down in the door. So as far as the back seat comfort goes, these are extremely comfortable seats. They're very, very plush. I think the only thing that you probably need to add back here is a 5-point harness if you're really going to go crazy off-roading like this truck is truly capable of doing, because quite frankly, you don't want to be bouncing around back here at 70, 80, 90 miles an hour through the desert. And that is kind of why they've offered seat belts, so you're nice and hunkered down, comfortable, away from the elements. But when we look at the door panel, they do have this really cool kind of carbon fiber trim, as well as this stitching that goes along, and this whole door is soft touch, very nice and comfortable. And if you're somebody who likes to carry clothes with you, there are some hooks back here so you can hang up some shirts. You can even do a bar across, and there's some nice little lights up here as well. This rear window is power and defrosted, so if you wanted to open it, you easily can from up front. And of course, that panoramic sunroof opens up as well, so you can really get some great airflow going through this back seats. I think that's everything in the back seat. Let's actually go up front and talk about how comfortable the front seats are next. So here we are in the front seats of the F-150 Raptor, and I have the engine turned off just so that way you guys can hear me really well, because surprisingly enough, even though this is a twin-turbo V6, it actually sounds quite mean even without the Baja exhaust mode turned on. But looking in here, It is clearly an F-150, but it's also clearly not fully your regular F-150. You can tell by the orange stitch that's always been in the Raptor that this is more performance-oriented. This is the only F-150 that you can get paddle shifters in. And that same carbon trim that we saw in the rear doors is antiquated up here in the front as well. We've got a three-way power memory adjustable seat here, along with automatic front windows. And this is equipped with the 360 lighting that you see on a lot of the other F-150s. When we go under features here in the middle screen, we go under 360 lighting, we can actually turn on all the lights all the way around the truck, which is a really great feature to have. But there's individual buttons over here for the spotlights as well. And the button for that tailgate is over here as well. So if you wanted to be super bougie when you roll up to the tire shop, you can drop the tailgate from inside the cab, have them throw the tires in, and then push it again and raise the tailgate. And then if you are the type of husband like me who gets your truck stolen occasionally, there are power adjustable pedals for the wife to really dial in exactly where she wants to be. And of course, your electric parking brake over here as well. Looking at the steering wheel, we already talked about the orange stripe and the paddle shifters, but it's also leather wrapped, and it's a really nice, thick, meaty steering wheel. We've got a Raptor badge along the bottom. And of course, this truck does have all of the safety features that you expect, your adaptive cruise control, your lane keep assist. It just makes this truck a really great highway rig. But we've got our R mode button as well. And when we double press that R mode, we can preset exactly what mode we want the engine, transmission, suspension, steering, and exhaust to go into. And you can quickly save it and just, boom, go right into R mode. So if you want to do like sport with a Baja exhaust and a stiff suspension, you can do that. Now, talking about those adjustable modes, the way you adjust those things are right over here. So we've actually got a steering, a suspension, and an exhaust button, and that can adjust all of it. And there's 4 different modes for each one of those, and it changes the whole dynamic of the truck. But on top of that, we've also got our drive modes, which is right down here by our 4-wheel drive control, which this does have 4 high, 4 low, and 4 auto, as well as a rear locking diff. This does also have the torsion limited slip front axle. So what that means is that you've got the rear locker, you've got the limited slip in the front. If you really get yourself into a bind, you can truly spin all 4 tires at the same time in this truck because of that torsion diff in the front. And just so you guys know, it is an option on the trimmer as well. So you can get, once again, that trimmer with the torsion front diff, spin all the 4 tires at the same time if you'd like. Now, this does have the nice premium B&O audio system in here. It's a absolutely phenomenal sound system. It absolutely bumps. I mean, when you turn that thing up to some really good music, dude, there's nothing like it. The big 12-inch screen here, this is the same 12-inch screen we get in a lot of the F-150s. In fact, for 2024, it's standard. And it comes with wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and 3 years of cloud-based nav, completely included. And then, of course, the Ford Pass app. Now, one of the things I love about the Ford Pass app is it doesn't cost anything extra. It's basically infinitely free until Ford changes that. And that means you can remote start, lock, unlock. You can get service reminders. It will read the codes for you remotely. All of those things using the 5G modem. And it works all the time. Another thing I love about this, it is at its heart an F-150, and I've said it 1,000 times before about the F-150, is that there's still physical buttons, still physical gauges. Every vehicle for the last 20 or 30 years, you've had your radio controls and you've had your climate controls, and this is set up exactly that way. See here, you've got your volume knob, you've got a quick mute button, you can change the source, you can turn the screen off with a quick push of a button if you want. Right there, screen's completely off. So if you're somebody who doesn't like that big 12-inch screen, especially on a long road trip at night, you can turn it right off. And then a tune knob, and then of course your dual zone climate with heated, cooled seats. This does have a heated steering wheel on it. That same kind of cool carbon fiber trim. You slide this back, you reveal a wireless charger and a USB-C and a USB-A. And there are these 2 little keys for those of you curious. These are for your box link. So that box link, you can lock up a cooler to it. Make sure nobody steals your $400 or $500 Yeti cooler. And these are going to be the keys that lock that box link in. Here, this one is equipped with the work surface, which is nice. It is standard for 2024 for any of you looking to order a 2024. But you fold down the shifter, fold this forward, and now you have a nice big work surface for a laptop, clipboard, whatever you may be using it for. And talking about the actual key fob, right here, it is a separate key fob. It says Raptor on it. It's different from the rest, but it's the same shape with the same buttons. You've got lock, unlock, tailgate release, remote start, and of course the panic button. And like I said, all of that you can use the Ford Pass app for. As far as connectivity goes, I mentioned the wireless charger, the USB ports, but over here we've got another 400-watt outlet. So if you're counting, that is 3 house outlets, 1 in the front, 1 in the second row, and 1 in the bed. So you definitely have a lot of plug-ins. Another 12-volt plug for even more power. And then one of the things I love about the F-150 is on each side of the console you have these indents where you can store smaller items, whether it be Yeti cups or koozies or whatever you may need, maybe bags of smaller stuff. You can just throw it right in there. And there is, of course, the trailer brake controller and the Pro Backup Trailer Assist, which helps you back up trailers. Now, you do have to program in the trailer, so it is a little bit finicky in that way, but it's still really nice to see. Now, anytime you jump in a Ford and you're looking at this big 12-inch display, you go under the Features tab and you see your driver's assistance, which will tell you all the safety tech the vehicle has. This one has the zone lighting and towing, which zone lighting is great. I've explained that a little bit before. It's 360 degrees of lighting all around the outside of the vehicle, and you can program which one you want. With towing, the towing apps are really great because you can program in individual trailers. You can set mileage reminders on those trailers, so it'll actually remind you to grease bearings, check brakes, adjust brakes. Whatever reminders you need for that specific trailer, you can put them in here, and it'll keep track of the mileage on that trailer. And one of the really unique off-road features that this has, along with the Tremor, is the trail turn assist. And I recently filmed a demo with a Bronco Raptor showing exactly how that works. And what it does is it uses the ABS control module, and it will grab the inside brake and basically pull the truck around in a tighter turn than what it would normally be able to do without that feature. And so it's really nice to see. It makes this truck, even though it is so large, if you are in a wooded area or somewhere that's a lot tighter, you can actually get in there and really maneuver this truck in ways that I don't think any of the competition would be able to do. Now we do have a quick home row of buttons up here at the top for some quick features you may use on a regular basis. For example, all the way to the left, we have our auto start stop on off. We have a quick button for our 360-degree camera system. We have a parking assist button, which in this case is just going to tell us to navigate to parking, and then of course we can scan the parking spot and park. Hazards, traction control off. Now keep in mind with traction control off, I recently had to show somebody this. When you push it, you're going to turn off regular traction control. There's something called advanced track, which is your rollover and all the other electrical assist beyond traction. When you hold that for 10 seconds, you actually turn off advanced track, and that's when you truly get to really spin the tires as much as you want. Now, there is something called trail control on this, and that works just like Toyota's crawl control. If you haven't used it in a Ford, it's a lot better than Toyota's system just because it uses the electronic ABS system as opposed to the old vacuum hydraulic system. And that will allow you to program speeds as low as 0.6 miles an hour all the way up to 20 miles an hour. And that will monitor the wheel speed and basically keep them from spinning, keep them from slipping, and just keep you on the right track so that you don't get stuck. And on top of that, if you do get stuck, you can actually use this system to get unstuck because, quite frankly, the computer can calculate a lot faster with a lot more reliability than the human can, and that's exactly why the system works so good. We talk about double glove boxes. We got one on top with this cool carbon fiber cover, a lower glove box, which is lockable with a key. We've got all our books in there, a couple stickers in there. And then, of course, the center console is also lockable with a key, but this lifts up. We've got a nice big tray in here with a coin sorter, and then another USB-C and another USB-A. You can, of course, option a safe for the center console if you'd like to store some ammo in there, guns in there, whatever. And that is everything in the front seats of the Ford F-150 Raptor. Now, I did forget to quickly mention that it does have the auxiliary power switches up here, which unlike the Bronco, you still get a sunglass holder with it. Then, of course, the buttons for this sunroof are right here. It does have a power shade that we can shut. It also has the glass that you can open, you can vent it, you can slide it back. And then, of course, this button right here between the sunglass holder and those other ones is for that rear window that opens and closes. And we do have our HomeLink garage door opener here. Now, this is an auto-dimming mirror. I would like to see Ford add a digital mirror, but it just doesn't seem to be a feature that they've been adding on very many of their vehicles, but it would be extremely nice to see. Now, this opens up. You've got LED lights, little business card holder in the corner, and it slides out, gives you very nice protection from the sun. But yeah, I would say the only nitpick we could really give Ford in here would be the lack of a massaging seat option. It would be nice to see, especially on something like the Raptor R that's almost $100,000. And then, of course, that digital mirror that we mentioned. Now, there is actually a bed view camera when you go under the 360-degree camera, which is really nice because you can actually see what's in the bed of the truck. So I'll give them props for having the bed view camera because there's not a whole lot of vehicles that have it. Now, once we open up the bed view camera, it's not super, super high res, but at least you can see if stuff blew out or got lost or whatever. Let's go underneath the hood and talk about that high output 3.5-liter EcoBoost next. Oh, and I did forget to mention F-150 Raptor with the B&O sound system, there are speakers in the headrest. Now, you can't get that on a 250. I accidentally made the mistake of telling somebody they were getting it on a 250, and it ended up only being a 150 option. But very, very nice to see here in the Raptor as well. So here we are underneath the hood of the F-150 Raptor, and this is our high-output Ford Performance 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6. Makes an absolute ton of horsepower and a ton of torque, and it's surprisingly efficient. Now, don't get me wrong, no off-road truck with 35-inch tires, and especially when you get 37-inch tires, is going to be super efficient. You're not going to see anything in the 20s probably on this truck unless you do some sort of crazy hyper-miling. But you will see high teens, and really the big picture here is that this is going to be a very powerful and very reliable powertrain. We've had these trucks traded in with 50, 60, 70, 80,000 miles on them before with relatively no issues. And that goes to show that you can build a powerful, fun, reliable truck. And this is a prime example of that. Now, this is twin turbos. You can see from a maintenance perspective, we've got one air box over here with our filters. We got our battery over there. There is a coolant reservoir right up on front like we have on the rest of the F-150s. And then, of course, your brake booster. There are some performance upgrades you can do to this because this is a turbocharged direct import injected motor, you can do some very good tuning and make 600 plus horsepower on mostly stock internals. And if you really wanted to go all out, you can build it even further. Now, the real talk is that the Raptor R comes with a 5.2 liter supercharged V8. It's a flat plane crank, and it makes an absolute ton of power. It really does rival that of the TRX, and it sounds absolutely insane. I mentioned those exhaust modes inside, and there is a Baja exhaust mode, which basically opens up a bevel and just dumps the exhaust, and it sounds really good even in this V6. Yes, it's a V6, it's a little more raspy than a V8, but it still sounds really, really good. I think overall Ford did a good job on the powertrain. I think that this truck is extremely adequate for what you need it for. And I definitely think if you've taken one of these trucks off-road, that you don't ask for more power, especially out of this 3.5 liter high output. And I can't even imagine what the Raptor R seems like off-road. Unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot of them in circulation, and I haven't had the opportunity to wheel one of those off-road. However, if you're somebody who has one and you'd like to invite me out, I'd love to go. Well, let's get into our final thoughts on this F-150 Raptor. So what do you guys think? Leave it down in the comments. Would you get the Ford Raptor? Do you think Ford has done a good job keeping up with the competition and honing in their craft? I think personally they have. I think this new Fox live valve suspension, along with the other improvements they've done on this vehicle, have really kept it not only with the competition, but I think ahead of the competition. There are a few little technology things that I think Ford can improve upon, which I already mentioned in the video. But overall, I think this is a great option. If you're somebody looking for a really fun, off-road, desirable truck that's going to be reliable and efficient, and for the most part, easy to drive as a daily driver, this is your prime candidate. You see, the problem with vehicles like the TRX is that it sucks way too much gas. Most of the people I know who own a TRX are getting somewhere between 8 and on a really great day, 14 miles per gallon, but that's really not reality. And this truck here can actively get 15, 16, 17 miles to the gallon. Yes, you should put premium fuel in it. However, you don't have to. Ford says that you can run this thing on 87, but and then when you look at something like the 6.2 liter V8 ZR2 or even the AT4X, those vehicles have the same problem that the TRX has, is that they're way too heavy. They are way too overbuilt, with not being overbuilt like this is overbuilt, but being overbuilt with big, heavy steel bumpers, heavy steel components, and that big, huge, massive V8 that just sucks fuel. And that's not to say the Raptor R is any better than either of those two vehicles when it comes to fuel economy. But when you get this high output EcoBoost motor, you get a lot better fuel economy. It's much easier to drive on a daily basis. You don't have to worry about maintenance cost or upkeeping it. And I think overall Ford has done a great job keeping the Raptor up to date with the competition, ahead of the competition, and also extremely fun to drive. And it's still daily drivable. I think that's where a lot of the competition has kind of fallen away from it. They're not very daily drivable. This is quiet, it rides smooth on the highway, it does a great job around town, and then when you do inevitably take it off-road, it is super, super fun. So what do you guys think? Leave it down in the comments. If you're interested in this exact truck, this truck is actually for sale. It doesn't have anybody's name connected to it, so feel free to come on in here to Terrebonne Ford. Make sure to ask for me, Austin the Car Guy. I'll be happy to hook you up. And if you want to put in an order for the brand new 2024 Raptor, let me know as well. My info is down in the comments. And of course, if you're enjoying the channel, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notifications bell so you get notified when I come out with a new video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this, very honest review of this truck, and hopefully it's been entertaining at least. And if you've stayed this long, well, you already know that it is late video lighting nerds time. This is our candid blooper style kind of go around the vehicle and check out the lighting, and that's what we're going to do right now. So let's go over here and turn on our low beams with fog lights. And this one has a really cool lighting setup because of the whole, we've got the, okay, so we got our fog lights and headlights on, but what's really cool about this one, it's got those cool Rigid Industry off-road lights, which we can turn on with the high beams. So right there you can see, these are our low beams, there's our fog lights. Now what I want to show you is these really cool rigid high beam lights. Ugh. If I can get the cover off, there we go. So there's our little plastic cover. It says Raptor on it. Make sure to put that back on. But what we do is we do the high beams on, and I believe it's auxiliary 1, but I'm just going to flip them all just in case I'm wrong. There we go. And let's check out these off-road lights. So here's your high beam headlights. You can see those projectors going off along with those orange daytime running lights, and then there is your off-road fog light. So very, very cool lights here on the Raptor. And for those of you late video lighting nerds, thank you so much for watching. Greatly do appreciate you, and I hope you have a great day.